The first thing you notice is the color. Deep red walls, blinding white kitchens, sickly green bathrooms, and cold blue exteriors. Nothing in this world is neutral. Every frame feels deliberate, theatrical, almost suffocating, as if the film itself is watching you back. This is not a story that invites comfort. It dares you to stay. Released in 1989 and directed by Peter Greenaway, the cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover arrived like a provocation disguised as art. It was elegant, brutal, intellectual, and shameless all at once. Almost immediately, it ignited outrage. Critics argued, censors panicked, politicians denounced it, and audiences either walked out or couldn't stop thinking about it. At its center is Albert Spica, the thief. Loud, vulgar, violent, and endlessly cruel, Albert is a man who treats ownership as identity. He owns the restaurant, he owns the people inside it, and most importantly, he believes he owns his wife. His presence dominates every room, not because he is powerful, but because he demands submission. He humiliates his staff, terrorizes his guests, and performs cruelty as if it were a form of entertainment. Opposite him is Georgina, his wife, silent at first, observant, enduring. Helen Mirren plays her not as a victim waiting to be saved, but as a woman slowly reclaiming control in the only ways left available to her. Her stillness is not weakness, it is calculation. Then there is Michael, the lover, a quiet intellectual surrounded by books, ideas, and words. He represents something Albert cannot understand: restraint, thought, inner life. Where Albert consumes, Michael reflects. Where Albert shouts, Michael listens. Their contrast is intentional, symbolic, and deeply political. And finally, there is the cook, Richard, always present, always watching. He sees everything and says almost nothing. In many ways, he becomes the film's moral witness, trapped inside a system he does not control, but understands all too well. The restaurant itself is the true stage. Nearly the entire film unfolds within its walls, following long, fluid tracking shots that glide through rooms as characters move from one emotional state to another. With each transition, the color palette changes, signaling shifts in power, desire, and identity. The effect is hypnotic and unsettling. You are not just watching events happen, you are being guided through them. As the story unfolds, Georgina begins a secret relationship with Michael, conducted in stolen moments away from Albert's gaze. The affair is not portrayed as romantic fantasy, but as resistance. It is not about passion alone. It is about reclaiming dignity in a world that strips it away. Every glance, every whispered conversation feels dangerous because it is. Albert, meanwhile, grows more monstrous with every scene. His cruelty escalates, not because he suspects betrayal, but because domination is the only language he knows. He humiliates his wife publicly. He treats the staff as disposable. He turns consumption into violence, shoveling food into his mouth as if daring the world to challenge him. This is where the film's reputation begins to collide with censorship. Upon release, it was banned outright in several countries and heavily cut in others. The reasons were many: extreme behavior, disturbing imagery, themes of abuse, and the refusal to soften its message. In the United Kingdom, debates erupted about whether the film crossed the line between art and obscenity. In the United States, ratings boards struggled with how to classify it. Some theaters refused to screen it at all. But what frightened censors most was not shock value. It was intent. Greenaway was not interested in titillation. He was dissecting power, political, sexual, economic, and forcing audiences to sit with its consequences. The film arrived during the late Thatcher era in Britain, and many critics immediately read Albert as a grotesque embodiment of unchecked authority, greed, and cultural decay. The restaurant became a metaphor for the state. Consumption became ideology. Silence became complicity. As the tension builds, the affair is discovered, and the film takes a darker turn. Consequences arrive not as moral judgment, but as inevitability. There is no justice system here, no rescue, only retaliation shaped by the same brutal logic that has governed everything before it. The final act is infamous, not because it is sensational, but because it is symbolic. It is grotesque by design, forcing viewers to confront the ultimate cost of domination and silence. The cook, who has watched everything, finally acts. Georgina, who has endured everything, finally speaks. And Albert, who has consumed everything, is confronted with the final result of his own cruelty. When the film ends, there is no relief, only reflection. The reaction was explosive. Some critics called it pretentious. Others called it masterpiece. Feminist readings clashed with accusations of exploitation. Religious groups condemned it. Art institutions defended it. What was undeniable was its impact. This was not a film that could be ignored. Over time, the conversation shifted. What was once dismissed as excess began to be studied as intention. Film scholars praised its use of color theory, theatrical staging, and long takes. Helen Mirren's performance was reevaluated as one of the most fearless of her career. Michael Gambon's Albert became a case study in cinematic tyranny. Today, the cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover is widely regarded as a landmark of transgressive cinema. Not because it shocked audiences, but because it asked uncomfortable questions and refused to answer them gently. It challenged the idea that art should be safe, or polite, or easily digestible. What does the film ultimately leave us with? It reminds us that power, when left unchecked, becomes grotesque. That silence can be a form of survival, but also a prison. That witnessing without action carries its own guilt. And that art, when it refuses compromise, will always be met with resistance before recognition. This is not a film you watch for pleasure. It is a film you endure, analyze, and remember. A film that lingers not in its moments of outrage, but in its quiet accusations. A cinematic experience that demands you ask yourself where you stand in the room, at the table, in the kitchen, or watching from the shadows. And long after the screen fades to black, the colors remain.